who woke us up this morning.
Our
Our
Father,
Father, who art in
art in
heaven,
heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy
thy
kingdom come, thy
thy
will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For God is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Yes, sir. Peace and blessings to everyone. I'd like to welcome y'all to another episode of Clean Slate Lifestyles, where, like I said, I'll be giving some powerful testimonies right here. And this one right here, man, this guy, man, OG in the game, really needs no introduction at all, but we call him Uncle Jeff around this way, you know what I mean? So, Uncle Jeff, what's up with you, man?
Hey, how are you today, my brother? And I
great.
want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to spread some knowledge about this thing we do called recovery.
For
And
sure.
I really appreciate this opportunity because recovery is one of those things that the whole world, if they're not affected by it, they know nothing about it. And I'm here to share what I know, and hopefully they can share it with somebody that they know to make this world a whole better place.
For sure, man. I appreciate your willingness, King, for real.
Yes, sir.
So, let's start from the beginning, man. Tell us, how did Uncle Jeff start off?
Okay. I'm going to run it down to, what it used to be like, what happened, and what it's like now. This is what we do in recovery. I can tell you about my upbringing. My upbringing was good.
It was good.
I knew we didn't have much, but we had everything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't look back. I can look back and say I picked up a lot of bad habits in my upbringing, but I can't blame anybody at this point because what I chose to do is what I chose to do. Like at this point, what I know about recovery, I can think of any excuse to deny truth.
Mm-hmm.
Truth is my decisions, my thoughts, and the way I ran my life is how I ended up where I was and what I strive not to fall back on today. I grew up here, right here on the south side of Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Dassler, I went to Roosevelt, and I went to South. One thing I know about growing up on this side of this town is we weren't rich, but we weren't poor either.
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed enough to come from a two-parent household. Our household was, for lack of a better term, dysfunctional. We had all the things that you could think of going on in our home, short of molestation. We had, mother getting beat up. We had thievery. We just had a lot of things going on in our house that you wouldn't think was going on.
How many
Nothing
siblings?
bad. There was 9 of us, and that's a lot of personalities. So I picked up a lot of traits from a lot of people that at this late age I'm learning to unlearn.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with our parents, at some point in your life, you have to unlearn some of the stuff that they taught us. Mm-hmm. Because it's just not right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what part of recovery is. It's unlearning those things that kept me sick and will get me sick again. I have to work it daily. I have to monitor my thoughts and monitor my movements, monitor my behavior in order to keep on this trail that I'm on.
Most definitely.
As I grew up, I think I had my first drink probably around 8 or 9. It was after a party that my parents had, and we were cleaning up, and we decided to drink whatever's left in the cups. Anyway, I got drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and I do believe I probably blacked out. I remember getting sick, but the biggest thing that I remember is I couldn't wait to do it again. And I think from that point on, you know, I became what's called a dabbler. And for better, I'm only like 8 or 9, so I would swipe what I could here and there. And as I got older, you know, the streets taught me how to go stand in front of the store and get an adult to buy it for us. But there were some stores over here over the east side that you could walk in and buy. Like then you could write a note like it's from your parent, hand it to the cashier and with some money, and they'll bring you everything on the note. And I learned that trick. Wasn't proud of that, but that's just how it was back then. What was I escaping at that point? I don't know. I just knew I loved drinking.
Do you remember what the name of the first drink was?
My first drink was Old English.
Old English, okay.
800.
Say OG, man.
And Stroh's. But I think the very first was a Stroh's beer.
Okay.
Because that's what my father drank. And we would swipe those left and right, you know, family cookouts, and things like that. You know, we were probably swiping the beers, going off somewhere and drinking them and coming back.
You said that you liked it the way that it felt, so you wanted to do it again, couldn't wait to do it again, right?
That's right.
Well, how did it make you feel?
It took me out of me.
Gotcha.
See, I'm looking for a release. All I knew is I was growing up in a household that had a lot of things going on. And I just, at that age, I wasn't old enough to process all that. So I went inside myself. I became kind of introverted and went inside myself. I've always been introverted, but I'm a social introvert.
I like that.
But I always, you know, stayed to myself and always found myself the best company that I can have. I'm one of them people, I never get lonely. Never. And I like being alone.
Yeah, I'm the same
That's
way.
just me.
Yeah,
That's
for
how
sure.
I'm wired.
And
And I think more with alcohol, I was able to be more social.
Most
You
definitely.
know, I would go around other people. I would be around people.
Be the life of the party.
Yeah, be the life of the party. I had something to share. Here you go.
Yeah. Ooh, wee.
Yeah, here you go. I got something to go. But as I got older, you know, it became something else. Finished high school, went to Franklin University for a little while. By now I'm making babies.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, good Lord, I'm gonna need some money. You know, I'm still, by then I'm borderline alcoholic. Give or take, but mostly I needed it. You know, because I like getting out of myself. I didn't like being the introverted Jeff Hairston that stayed to himself. I wanted to be the Jeff Hairston that got out and was socialized.
Are you realizing that you were alcoholic at this time, or you just?
No, I'm still working on the story at this point.
Gotcha.
At that point, it was just something I did to get out of myself. But I knew, I kind of figured there would be a problem because as I look back, I was always the last one. After everybody got done, I was still walking around looking for something.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's when I started realizing, you know, maybe I got a problem, maybe I don't. But at that age, I don't think I even cared.
That's what I was.
I was just doing what I thought I had to do to socialize, mostly to socialize. But after I went to Franklin for about a year and a half, then I decided to join the service. That's when I realized that I was alcoholic. After I got out of boot camp, went to a ship, and that was the first place I ever seen a vending machine with beer in it. 75 cents a can for a Meister Brown.
Wow.
And me and some of the other guys, we would sit there and try to empty the machine. We would start at the top, the cheap beer, and work our way down. I think there was like Miller. I was Meisterbrow, then Pabst, then Miller, then Michelob, then Heineken.
You remember the order.
Empty, try to empty the machine, 75 cents at a dollar at a time. But we usually end up tore up and sleep. But that's what we did with our time off the ship. We would just go to a barracks and start emptying the beer machine. Now, me being the person I am, after that, after everybody else is drunk, still hadn't had enough. So I started dabbling out in the city a lot more. When they got done there, I was on my way out into the city of Norfolk to see what was going on out there.
Where is that? Virginia?
Virginia. Yep, I started out in Little Creek, Virginia, and Norfolk was just right down the road. Kind of, Little Creek was like where a base was. Norfolk was the city. There was another base in Norfolk. That was the big base. I was on the Amphib base. That's when I really started thinking, dude, you might have a problem. Might, because I wasn't totally convinced yet that there was a problem there. I started dabbling in weed while I was in the service, smoking weed, because alcohol just wasn't enough anymore for me to be social. I had to add something because I couldn't get to where I wanted to get to with just alcohol alone. And I had basically quit smoking weed while I was in the service, but alcohol just alone just didn't work anymore to get me out of me. Jeff Hairston needed something else to get out of himself because he couldn't stand it himself at that point. I'm starting to know that there may be a problem, and I'm still not convinced at this point. So we started getting underway. We went on a cruise around South America. That was when the pendulum really started swinging. Because now, here I am in Colombia, cocaine capital of the world. $5, I got the biggest bag of cocaine you ever seen in your life. And
dang, you said
beer,
$5.
Yeah, the beer wasn't enough. Beating weird and weed wasn't enough. And I still needed to add something to get me out of me so I could be this social person that I thought I wanted to be. And did I do South Carolina? We went, South America. We went to Colombia. We went to Ecuador. We went to Peru. We went to Chile. I picked up, that's when I started having, I might have a problem. I started thinking I might be something I'm not. But that's when the side dishes started. I started snorting cocaine a lot, because, hey, that really took me out of myself. It was such a thing, and when we went to Ecuador, they would sell cocaine leaves right on the street.
Wow. And
you just buy a pack, put them in your mouth. I bought like a million bushels, and I had them all over the place on the shelf. Well, anytime I needed it, boom, I would slap a leaf in my mouth. People were like, "What are you chewing on?" I'm like, you don't need to know. But some of them knew, because they were out on the same streets of Ecuador that I was on, and Peru, Colombia. It's what they do. They just suck on a leaf. And I learned that trick. So that prolonged it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I got my alcohol, I got my weed, I got these leaves I can suck on. I have arrived. And still wasn't convinced I had a problem yet. So I went through the service. Meanwhile, my time is coming to get out of the service. My first enlistment bang up job. got an honorable discharge there. Second enlistment, not too good. Had a bad conduct because by then I couldn't keep my hands off people. I was irritated. I was angry because weed wasn't enough, beer wasn't enough, cocaine wasn't enough. I could not get to where I needed to get out of me. And I didn't know I was running from me at the time, but now that I look back, I know exactly where I was.
Shoot. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, man.
I knew exactly where I was. So I was up in Maine in 1989. By now, I am a true blackout drinker. I drink to get blacked out, and a lot of times I was out there doing stuff. I was moving, but my mind wasn't recording. I don't even know what happened. But I drove up onto the base, and I had this girl's car I was driving, and we were out, and I usually would make sure the ashtrays were clean. I missed it this time. There was a roach in the ashtray. Meanwhile, I was half drunk, half blacked out, so they searched the car and found the roach. From there, in the military, you get a drug test. I tested positive for cocaine. Now, I had an earlier bust a couple years before. So at that point, they were like, look, we're not going to deal with you. You're yelling at people, you're getting in fights, you're just not fit for this anymore. So we're going to let you on out of here with a bad conduct. And by then, I was so ready to go because it was interfering with my time to drink and get high anyway. I was like, let's do it. And thinking that, they would have pity. But they didn't care. They asked me to stay, but I wasn't going to stay because by then I had made E5 and I wasn't going to be an E1 again, so I was ready to go. So they let me out with a bad conduct discharge. That sent me somewhere different. Now that I don't know myself, at this point. I'm just out there. I got out, stayed up in New Hampshire, functioned well, but I was still doing the same things. I just didn't have to worry about Uncle Sam.
They tell you take you everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go. I didn't have to worry about Uncle Sam at this point. I could do whatever I want. They wasn't drug testing at work. And if they was, you do it, you clean it up one time, go to work, they never bother you again. Anyway, I'm up in this part of the country. Now, up here is some culture shock going on too. So I'm up here and like, damn, where am I going to go get my hair cut? Where am I going to go? I'm up in New Hampshire, Maine, and wasn't very many black people up there. So I was able to isolate, very well, and I was cool by myself. But Mr. Jeff has to be social. So Mr. Jeff goes out and does what Mr. Jeff does. Get the stuff people like, share it, and now
you're the man.
I'm acceptable. Well, I wasn't, by then, I was kind of getting convinced, but we're only talking like 1980, 1990, 91 now. I ain't got no problem. As long as I pay my bills and do my thing,
we all say,
ain't nothing wrong with what I do. Although, there was a lot wrong. I just, in denial. Denial is not just a river in Africa. It is where I go when I don't want to face the truth. And at this point, I know that. I stayed up there for 12 years. And by then, I was with somebody and she was getting tired of my shit. By then, I am irresponsible. not doing what I need to do, cheating all over the place, spending money I didn't have or she had, putting us in debt. She cheating, I'm cheating. It just wasn't right.
That's toxic.
Yeah, just wasn't right anymore. So I said, okay, let me go.
Hold on. Prior, you said that you had children before, right?
Yes.
Now, you had a relationship with your children?
Yes.
That was
Let
prior.
me talk about my kids through this. Through this, when I first left, my intentions were, hey, I need money for these babies. You know, I'm going to Franklin. I ain't really working. I'm going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I got 2 kids. So I said, this ain't going to work. So I decided to go into service so I have money for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got there, something else, a lot of other things happened. I just stopped caring about the world, kids included. I didn't care about shit except that where I'm gonna get that next buzz and who I'm gonna be with when I'm doing it. But my kids, you know, they suffered a lot through this. As a matter of fact, that was starting to be a big burden on me too, because I knew I wasn't doing right by nobody, but I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to be bothered by nobody either. So for me, it washed out. It just washed out, and it's very sad, but that's my truth. In between 1982 and 1991, when I started bringing my kids up to New Hampshire with me.
Yeah.
And, you know, they would come for the summer. You know, they get a job, I buy them some school clothes and whatever, and they come back. And I was able to do what I was doing for a whole year until they got back. But that time that they were there, I didn't do what was right. I would say, hey, let's go to the mall. Let's go do something. Go in my back room. I always had to have a beer and a joint before I go anywhere. By the time I come out, let's do this tomorrow.
Yeah,
so there's
man.
Millions of letdowns for my babies. But I'm just glad that I'm here for them today.
Most definitely.
And I've talked about it with most of my children. One don't want to hear it, you know. He'll come around, but the others are okay with where I was. They know the story. And as a matter of fact, my daughter Toya showed up here today because she wanted to be right here when I tell it.
I know that's right.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
You know? But it didn't work like that. Anyway, we're up until from 93 to 2002, I was up in, and from 89 to 2002, I was up in New Hampshire. Once I seen that was falling apart, I said, good, I gotta do something else. I gotta find new people, because nobody liked me. You know, I was drinking. I was the mean one at the cookout. I was the mean one everywhere. Once I got drunk, it was all bets off. I didn't give a damn about nobody or nothing.
Yeah, go ahead and open up, though.
Kids, girlfriends, skip them all.
Yeah.
That's when I started to detect that I might have a little bit of a problem. I was only willing to admit to a little bit. Anyway, I called my friend, his name is Harold Grant. He was living in Phoenix. He said, hey, why don't you come up here? I said, yeah, I ain't doing nothing here. I had a little bit of money saved up. So I shot my ass to Arizona. I went from the coldest state in America, being homesick for one, and not liking the weather, to the hottest state in the planet, to just good times every day. That is where I realized I got a problem. I got my first taste of treatment there. I went there, I was selling cars. The first month I sold 25 cars. they dropped a $10,000 paycheck on my ass. And that's when I knew I had a problem. The following month, I sold 2 cars. I spent that whole month partying, taking on all comers, cocaine, crack, alcohol. It did not matter. By then, I was so disgusted with guilt and shame from the way I got out of the military, from the way I treated my kids, from the way my life was going up in New Hampshire. I just did not care. And I had enough money to say, F it, for a couple months. And that's exactly what I did. While I was up there, I got a phone call from my mother. And in the 20 years that I had been gone, she had never said, hey, Jeff, you might want to come home. And I said, come home? That's, oh, come home. So I come back to Columbus, and that's when she tells me she has congestive heart failure, that she didn't have long to live. So there's another log on this fire now. I am completely off the chain from the year 2003 to 2003 and 2004. I'm completely off the chain. I was not doing nothing. That's when I stepped into the shelter scene. I started bouncing around the shelters, in and out of the engagement center, anything just to get away from everybody, including me. And it was hard. And that's where most of the downfalls took. After my mother passed, my friend Harold called me. He came to Columbus for the funeral, and I had took one look at him and said, man, you're gaining weight. He said, no, I'm actually losing weight. I said, oh, you look heavy to me, man. What's going on? Oh, nothing. I said, well, anyway, since you and your mother are speaking, you need to go around there and patch things up with your mother, because you never know. One of y'all could die, and the other one that's left alone, here living, is going to feel miserable. So he does that, comes back around. And this is my best friend in the world. No matter where I was in this world, I had him and my mother to call. They bailed me out of all kinds of crap while I was in the service. And when I came back, they were bailing me out, because I would spend up all my money and do all kind of crazy stuff. But between the two of them, that was like my enablers, aka support system, before I realized how severe this problem was. Anyway, he goes back to Phoenix that Monday, has a stroke that Tuesday, and dies that Wednesday.
Wow.
So I lose my whole support system right there. That's when I went completely off the chain. I walked around the streets of Columbus from 2004 to 2008. I didn't care about nothing. Had a job, just didn't want to pay no bills, because I wanted to use my money to drink, chase women, smoke crack, whatever. That's what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to be bothered with no human being, because didn't want to be bothered with me while I was gone. I always had an excuse for my behavior. What are you gonna say, sir?
I wanted you to share the difference between somebody who love you and say that they support you when really they're enabling you.
Yes. You know, a person who supports you, they're not gonna help you. They're not gonna help you. They are gonna tell you no. They want you to live. An enabler, they're gonna keep feeding you money and giving you whatever just so you get out of their face.
Or call it love. I
They'll
love
call
them,
it
so
love.
I have to give
They'll
them
do
this.
it out of love, but they really don't want to see you like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you like that, and they don't want to talk to you while you're like that. So whatever they have to do to get you away from them at that time, and hopefully the next time they see you, you would be better. But that's not the case in most cases. In most cases, they become your enabler, in which the two of them at lightweight become without even knowing. Because I didn't share that I had problems. I just told them I was short on something. Give me some money. So that's more game on my part than it was enabling on their part. But I think my mother knew because she came to visit and she saw some of my behavior. So she may have known that I was struggling. But anyway, I walked the streets of Columbus for 4 years doing the shelter thing. Faith on 8th, Friends on Main Street, Faith on 4th. I run the circuit. You can stay at each of them for 3 months, get kicked out, go to the next one. Between that, there's the engagement center right here at Maryhaven. I could get drunk every night, call a number, they would come pick me up, take me there, I could sleep it off, wake up in the morning, all I had to do to get back in was get drunk, or I could stay for treatment. I did this whole thing for 4 years, and after a while, the last year, about 2007, I got tired of that, after doing that for 3 years. So I spent almost the whole, from 2007, about February to May of 2008, just out there on the streets. I didn't even want to go to the shelter because I didn't want to be bothered with nobody. Jeff wanted to be alone, and when I'm ready to see you, I'll see you, and I'm going to spend all my money, and we're going to have a good time. That was my life. I slept behind a library at this time, downtown. I would hide blankets in the bushes, and it was the thing about that is I would sleep on this ledge before they did the construction, and every night the janitor would wake me up at 3:30 so I could get up, and I would walk from there to DSW on 5th Avenue every day religiously for a year until I decided to stop. Because I didn't want to spend my money on nothing other than sex, drugs, hookers, crack, anything I could get in my system to take me out of me. Because by then, I'm outright disgusted with life at that point. Shame, guilt, anger, depression, and it was killing me. So on May the 15th of 2008, I'm coming from Seymour and Livingston. I'm walking down Fairwood, right over here. My sister lived on Phoebus. My brother lived on Phoebus also. I've been up all night trying to get high. By now, nothing's working. I smoked weed. I drank. I smoked crack. I snorted cocaine that night. Nothing. I was sober as a jaybird. And I was like miserable. I said, I can't get out of myself. There's not enough drugs and alcohol in this world for me to get where I want to be. Now I want to die. So I'm walking down Fairwood, almost to Phoebus, and I hear a semi-truck coming. I said, that's it. I ain't doing shit with myself anyway. I may as well fucking die today. And I turned to step out in front of this truck and felt like I was grabbed. I could not budge. And I said, oh my God, what is going on here? And I was trying to, step in front of this truck, but I couldn't. So I just stopped right there that day, May the 15th, 2008. I looked up and said, God, what do you want me to do? And he led me. He led me to my sister's house on Phoebus. If I go the opposite way, I had some weed stashed off there. I could have grabbed that, hit the track up there, and kept trying. But it didn't pan out like that. In the meantime, I had called my job. I was working at DSW. A lady named Ernestine Carmen and a man named Mark Lipek They carried me there. They
Carried you?
carried me. They loved me until I could love myself without firing me.
Amen.
They kept me. Ernestine Carmen, she has now probably about 30-something years of recovery. She did not give up on me. Mark Lipek, he just held my job. He said, look, I know you can get it together. Just hang in there. And
That's dope.
I called them and told the two of them, hey, I'm going into treatment. And it wasn't the first time, because over the 4 years between 2003 and 2008, I had made like 3 attempts. Nothing. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to quit. I hadn't had enough misery. But this time, it was different. I got to my sister's house, called NetCare. I had $1.75 in my pocket. I didn't want to go down to the house where I had the weed and stuff, because that would just send me back out to the track. My sister had a little bit of Bacardi's in a bottle. I drank that, called NetCare, walked down to the corner store at Freebus and Fairwood, bought a 40, guzzled it, and waited for NetCare to come. I get over here to the engagement center, and Mr. Lee is there. He says, oh, okay, you gonna try it again? I said, yeah, I'm here to try again. And a man named Nate was there. And after being up all night, guzzling like a shot and a half of Bacardi, and I drank a 40 ounce of, I think it was Still Reserve.
Ooh-wee.
And blew in the machine, I blew exactly
Blew it all the way up.
a .2. And they looked at each other like, he ain't even drunk.
Yeah, what?
He ain't nothing wrong with him. We don't know if we want to let him in. And Mr. Lee came out and he took one look at me. He was like, he looked different this time. And then they said, yeah, I kind of know he's glowing a little bit. He said, let him stay. And I didn't look back from there.
I know that's right.
My sobriety date is May 16th, 2008. That's 17 years ago
That's all.
that I gave in.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Salute, Jackson.
In that 17 years, it's a learning process. During this 17 years, what worked for me yesterday might not work for me today. So I had developed a tool bag. There's 5 things that I do on a regular basis. That's attend meetings, make phone calls, prayer and meditation, sponsorship, and reading the literature. I have to be working 2 of those on a daily basis or I'm going to repeat. There is no might, there is no could. I am going to repeat. I have to change my whole thought pattern. I like to say, you don't have to change much, just everything.
People think that being in recovery, once you quit drinking and smoking or whatever, you're doing good. It's like, no, you got to change your thing. You got to change everything,
got to change a lot of things. What I don't like is when people say, oh, you've been sober 17 years. You don't need them meetings anymore. And I just look at them like, would you tell a cancer patient he doesn't need chemo?
Yeah.
This is life-saving for me. And people don't get that.
No, not at all.
They do not get that.
One day at a time.
They don't get the urgency. There's an urgency here. This disease is progressive. Most progressive disease, the final step is death. I'm not trying to die like that. Not like that. Not after all the work I've put in.
How's your life looking like nowadays?
Nowadays, I'm moving along. I'm secretary of the Saturday meetings. Job, I just scaled back my job. Mostly for peace, but entirely for health reasons. I was working all those warehouse jobs and my body was getting beat down. So I took a huge pay cut to get a sit-down job to where I could start preserving. Because
That's right. Sure.
retirement is close, and I don't want to retire and not be able to walk. I have arthritis, both shoulders, both hips. I have low-line CPOD. I have depression diagnosis. I want to back up on that. And I take medication for all these things: high blood pressure, borderline diabetic. And most of those are a direct result of alcoholism and drug addiction. I wanted to back up a little bit on the depression piece. You know, when you come into recovery, they give you what they call underlying conditions. That condition I danced around. 10 years into recovery, and when I came right here to Maryhaven, they said depression. I was like, everybody has depression. It'll go away once I quit drinking. Trick no good.
Right. That's good.
Once I'm recovered. My 10th year in recovery. That's when this really stepped forward. Because, see, the disease wants to kill me. It's going to come at me anyway to get me. So it brought forward depression. This came at me like a ton of bricks. 10 years in, it was December of 2019, I believe. 10th year. Yeah, 2019 is when that hit like a ton of bricks. First of all, over those 10 years, I said, I'm in recovery, but something's missing. I'm not hitting that happiness where I need to be at. I'm by myself, I'm alone, but I'm still not happy. And I couldn't figure out why. So this depression set in. Now in those 10 years, I'm thumbing off, saying F you, fuck you, $25, $26 an hour jobs, saying fuck it and quit, walking out, just go get another one. Like water. But when I left DSW or got fired, that's when something strong hit. That was real depression. And I'm talking, I was in the bed for 2 weeks. Didn't want to get up, didn't want to move. And I'm 10 years in recovery. Meanwhile, the disease is saying, just get up and go get you one. You're going to be all right. Go have a drink. Go get some weed. You remember how you used to do this? And I was like, depression played a bigger part in my life than I ever realized to that day. And I got up. I threw all my stuff in the dumpster. TVs. I had accumulated a lot of stuff over 10 years. And I'm working at DSW. I'm talking $200 pair of shoes, everything. Right in the dumpster. Because I knew I wasn't right. And I had to get help. And I wasn't just going to walk out. I wasn't just going to walk out and leave all this stuff for somebody to take, like I had done a million times before. So what I did was I went to the VOA, Volunteers of America, and they got me linked with the VA. The VA got me linked with mental health. I took a medication, a low dose antidepressant, and it solved most of that problem with depression. I'm saying that to say this: the drinking the drugs, and all, the chasing women, that is such a minute part of my recovery. That's only 10%. The 90% which lives in here is what I have to pay attention to.
That's good.
And that depression was well over 90%. It was taking me backwards. And a simple medication fixed that. But I'm saying that to say this. They gave me this diagnosis 10 years ago. And I said, blew them off. Everybody goes through depression when they quit drinking and smoking. I ain't no different. And I almost talked myself into death. If it wasn't for continuously going to meetings, continuously doing the recovery things, I would have gave up again. And that would have been a suicide. Because the guilt, depression, shame, guilt, anger, all were balled up into one. And I had this big old empty void in there that was tremendous. And I just didn't know what to do with it. But if it weren't for being in recovery, I wouldn't have said, well, all I gotta do is apply the same 12 steps that I used to get sober and just put the word depression in there. And I used the same formula to start working towards treatment. Thank God I worked toward treatment.
For sure.
And I haven't really looked back as far as the depression piece. I have to monitor it because at points, like I may have to up my dose sometimes. Sometimes I need a lower dose. The sun plays a big part in my mood, which I never knew. I am a true sunaholic and I am a mooniac. But a full moon, I get crazy. Sober, I still get crazy. And I have to make sure I stay my ass home. I have to monitor the moon. Because I start gearing up for it and full moon hit, pow. It's like so many times before I got into recovery, whenever I was drug away in handcuffs, whatever happened to me, I would look up and I'll be damned if it wasn't a full moon. Every time. And if it weren't for recovery, I wouldn't stop long enough to learn this about me. So what we have to do here in recovery is they give us a lot of suggestions. They give us a lot of information. What we have to do is personalize that information for me, because I don't qualify for everything. Everything isn't me. What I have to do is be honest with me and be willing and accept change. Acceptance. Without acceptance, I'm a dead man, because what I don't accept disturbs me. And that goes for everybody. That's just not a recovery thing. Anytime we don't accept something, we're killing ourselves from inside out, which puts me on a spiritual journey. See, we take the word spiritual versus religion. I say religion is for people who want to go to heaven. Spirituality is for those of us who've been to hell. And I qualify for that. So spirit is inside, if you break it down. It means inside. Ritually, daily, I have to daily condition my insides daily, which is this thinking part, to make sure I'm on an even keel. That's spirituality. Always post, and some of you guys see that this whole life of ours is an inside job. Everything we have and everything we will be is already inside of us.
So say that.
It's up to us to process that. This is what recovery has taught me about living. Living can be as easy or as hard as my brain lets it be. Now, this is a really simple program for complicated people. The simpler I keep my life, the easier my life is. When I start complicating, trying to put too much thought into things, my life goes haywire every time. You know, I have people today, because there's a lot of suggestions, sponsorship, not having relationships and things like that. Most of them don't apply. For a sponsor, I use 3 people. 3 people. For mental, I got my therapist at the VA, and I have 2 friends, and they know who they are, that I'll call on, and
That's good.
they help me through my mental things. But
That's good.
I'm saying this to say, all your sponsor is going to do is guide you through recovery. But there's a lot more going on in this head than recovery. And that's where the surrounding myself with others come around. See, I'm such a loner that I don't want nobody in my circle. I had to go against it. I had to do something different to get something different. I had to invite others into my circle so I can recover properly. Because the way I was doing it, it would take forever for me to figure out everything on my own. This is why I love anything that has to do with group therapy. AA is just a large group therapy where you get a lot of ideals and a lot of suggestions, and it's up to me to take the ones that are going to help me stay alive today.
All right, Uncle Jeff. You rolled over this real quick, but we need to back up real quick, right? Because I want to let you know, first and foremost, that I appreciate what you do every Saturday morning, you know what I mean? Along with all the countless millions, I said millions, but countless males that come up in here every Saturday that you come and attend here faithfully. So back up and touch on that real quick. Explain what you do.
Yes, I'm the secretary of the men's discussion meeting here at Maryhaven. What I do as part of my repertoire of meetings is a men's meeting. I have to have somewhere to come where I can talk like a man, act like a man, and be a man without offending anybody else. It's always suggested in recovery that the men stay with the men as far as sponsorship and the women stay with women. And we also have meetings because male issues in recovery and women issues in recovery are different. Sometimes you need a group of women if you're a woman, and me as a man, I need a group of men. It is not beyond me to walk up and ask another man for help. And that's where a lot of people, especially men, struggle in this society. They won't open up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm here to let them know that I'm definitely an ear, and I will listen, and I will do whatever I can to help through recovery. And if we get tight enough, I'll help you outside of recovery. Because nobody can do everything alone. And as men, we're conditioned that we can do anything we want if we put our minds to it. But our mind isn't enough for most things on this planet.
I'm letting you know because I appreciate it, because this is something that you don't have to do. It's not like you're in this program or you're an employee. You come in here on your own and do it faithfully. An hour prior to the meeting starting, you bring the cookies, the coffee, and like you spending your own money, your own time. Like, I love that so much. It inspired me so much. I do church every Sunday now. Yes. So it's like, that's where I got the idea from. I'm like, well, shoot, you know what? I'll make that my responsibility too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's I really respect that.
Right. Well, if I started coming to Maryhaven, I got my recovery start right here. And I have to give something back to the people who gave me freedom, first of all. Yeah. Secondly, it's good for me to come back here because I get to look out over that crowd and see that, well, 17 years ago, that was me. Yeah. We call it that well-whooped ass. Yeah. You look out over the crowd and see them well-whooped asses out there and you go, wow. That was me 17 years ago. And you get that reminder that I'm only one bad decision away from being right back where I was.
For
17
sure.
years mean nothing.
Yeah.
If you have 6 months and I got 17 years, if you woke up at 5 o'clock and I woke up at 6, you got more recovery than me today.
Yeah.
I live for today.
Yeah. Say
What
that.
can you get me through today?
Yeah.
I
I'm glad
can't.
you said that.
Yeah. And there's this myth that sometimes, in recovery, it's like, oh, just be quiet. But everybody has something to say. Please speak.
Yeah.
Now, there's some things maybe we shouldn't speak on, but speak you.
Yeah.
That's always going to be the truth.
Mhm.
You talk about you, and I guarantee you, I'm going to either find a similarity that I like, and that's what I focus on. I never focus on the differences, because the differences are what kept me sick. I thought I was different. I thought I was everything. I'm nothing like y'all.
Yeah.
Nothing like y'all.
Yeah.
And that's what kept me sick. Now I focus on similarities. And if you focus on similarities, you get to see yourself.
Everybody. Ooh,
A lot of people don't want to look at themselves.
Ooh.
Like that mirror in the morning,
Yeah.
there was times where I actually put a towel over it while I was struggling, so I didn't have to look at myself. Now, first thing in the morning, look at you glow, baby.
Yeah. I know that's right.
That's what you like, missing teeth and all.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man.
I dig it. I dig it.
Teeth. That brings me to another thing. My 5th year in recovery, I went to a dentist. And he gave me, we had a deep cleaning, and he pulled a couple teeth. But he gave me a Percocet. And he said, you're going to need it. So I said, I don't know, man. I'm an addict. I don't need to be drinking. But then, take as suggested is always, as prescribed is what we say. If you have to take something, you have to take it as prescribed. Just don't be abusing it. So he said, look, you're going to need this. Because your chick going to be hurting after I'm done here. And I took it. And that was the worst 24 hours of my life, trying to hold on to my 5 years while I beat off the urge to go out and get add to it. And I've had this fear of going into dentists and doctors and things and letting them give me something for pain. As dentists, I ain't even trying to, because I know they coming with something. So I've been staying away from them. But finally this year, this is with counseling. I had to go through counseling to get up enough courage to make a dental appointment. That's how much fear I had of dentists and having to be medicated again. It just scared the bejesus out. It scares the bejesus out of me to know I may have to take something, or they're going to give me something and I might not be myself when I come out. Oh my God, that just scared the bejesus out. But it took almost 10 years of therapy. And I finally made an appointment. Now, the fear is gone. And I switched up jobs and got the dental plan. Now I just make the appointment. I'm just waiting on my time to kick in where I can take off to get it done. But that's what the program taught. The program taught me is I don't have to rush into anything. It taught me to live one day at a time. It taught me to accept me how I am all day, every day, regardless of what people think. Because guess what? I already know that in recovery out there are 20% of the people who think you aren't going to make it. And there's 80% that don't give a damn because it ain't their problem.
Facts. Facts.
So,
Facts.
Realistically, I got myself and my brothers and sisters in the program to help me through. and outside the program also, because like I said, I have a circle. And I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, my friend circle is this, my friend circle is that. Do you have a friend that you can call and they're going to give you good sound advice? Not this crap that we should be unlearning some of the stuff our parents taught us.
Yeah.
I'm talking about clinical advice. If you don't have friends like that, you have enemies, because they're gonna give you sickness.
Yeah.
They're gonna give you sickness. And
Man.
I've already learned that if my car breaks down, I'm going to a mechanic. If I get sick, I'm going to see a doctor. I have problems up here, I'm going to see a psychologist. If I got an alcohol problem, I'm going to see an alcoholic. So I don't be showing up at the neighbor's house telling them about my problems. I know who to go to for things now. That's another thing that recovery teaches you. It teaches you that everybody, although they may be good, is not to be told your problems, because they really can't do nothing for you.
That's good.
All they can do is tell you what somebody told them, and that's not fixing it. See, you have to be looking for solutions instead of just somebody to share something with. I live in solutions now. I live in the solution about being an alcoholic. If I come here every Saturday and give back what was freely given to me, that's living in the solution.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to the doctor and the doctor tells me to do something and I don't do it, that's not a solution. I'm setting myself up with death. I have to live in the solution. So we do it on a daily basis, but do we practice it? See, everybody has a lot of experience. They tell you they do a lot of stuff, they read a lot of stuff, but do you live it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what we have to ask ourselves. Am I living recovery? Yes, I live recovery, and I'm gonna die recovery. And as long as I get through the day, that's all I gotta worry about. It's not the mountain that kills you. It's those obstacles on the way up. That's all I gotta look for. So that's the simple way out.
For sure. Man, Uncle Jeff, man, I really appreciate you coming and sharing your testimony with us, man. Like, you really blessed me with that. Like,
yes, sir.
For real, I'm pretty sure a lot of people gonna relate and be inspired by it, you know.
That's right.
You got anything last to say?
If I haven't said anything that you can relate to, don't worry.
Yeah.
There are other things that are going to be said by other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep listening to recovery and keep practicing recovery. Because remember, you have to tailor your recovery to you. I'm not tailoring my recovery to you. I'm letting you know what I've learned in recovery that works for me. If you hear something that you think will help you, try it.
Like they say, everybody's recovery look different.
The mental obsession is what kills us. If that first drink is going to take you somewhere where you probably won't return. One day at a time, don't drink. Thank you.
Amen. Thank y'all for coming. All right, peace.
Peace.